Good morning, everybody. Kevin Broughton coming at you from Success Unlimited. And I'm so excited today. For those of you that tuned into our social media platform, we have an awesome series called Superhero Series. And today is a real treat. I am very, very lucky and fortunate to have gotten a friend of mine to be willing to come on with me for a few minutes today. And he's a true superhero. This gentleman has helped me in ways that really are exceptional and have helped my life, and they've changed my mindset, and they've made me a better version of me over the last 3 months specifically. And I'm eternally grateful for his contribution. So I'm excited to introduce a friend of mine from Flower Mound, Texas, Mr. Tony Jeary. Tony, how are you today?
Fantastic. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much for joining. Tony lives in the suburb of Dallas, and he built a place called the Results Center. And I got the opportunity to go spend a few days at the Results Center. Oh, there it is right there. Thank you for pulling that up. And it is a state-of-the-art, unbelievable think tank. And I went there with some friends, and then I went there with more friends recently, and everybody left energized and empowered and in a different frame of mind than when they walked in. And not only was it a great pump-me-up day, but more importantly, it was a foundation of thinking that has gone far beyond the days we spent physically at the Results Center. And
that's why we built it, Kevin. We built it as a think tank, right?
Right.
To really be able to push people to be on their game with their thinking, because everybody's so busy today, you know?
Well, without a doubt. And Tony has written 76 books, including 27 books on one topic, presentation mastery, and everything that we've learned from him, from vision boarding to strategic gifting, things I didn't even think about, to be quite frank, before I met him, have made a massive impact. And we've taken that impact into the lives of some loan originators. So, Tony, if you could, you've gotten to know our industry over the last few months a little bit better than you knew it before. Is that true?
True.
And what do you see as ways that loan originators in a very tough market, I know you understand markets, could be doing to not only survive a market like this, but to thrive? Because this is an opportunistic market if we're approaching it properly, right?
Yep. Kevin, one of the things that comes to my mind when you ask a question like that is the word time. And what we found going across the world is that most people can't answer this question. And you know the question I'm about to say, right?
I do.
And the question that I say is, and we'll say it to the people listening today, you know, do you know how many hours are in a week?
I do.
And you do, but most people, I'm thinking right now that are listening, have to calculate or don't know. And what I propose, Kevin, is that, you know, it starts, a loan officer's effectiveness starts with the idea that there's only so much time. And when you take away sleep and you take away taking a shower, then you got about 100 hours, you know, 56 hours, let's say 8 hours a night for sleeping, and you take a shower and, I don't know, 10, 12 hours, you got 100 hours.
Yeah.
I think a big deal that I like to share with people listening today is, are you managing your time effectively? Like, for example, a lot of people, Kevin, when they talk about time, they say, well, here's how I'm going to spend my time as a loan officer. Well, I propose, you know, you should say, how are you going to invest your time? Because people are like, you know, lackadaisical. They're just not really on their game with how valuable time is.
Correct.
So I'd like to start with that premise, that as a loan officer today, in a market where we're at, like, being cognizant of your time. Like most people, Kevin, have never studied how to say no.
Correct. And yet, you know, one of the things I've learned from you is how to say no, yet still give the person what they want. And that has been really valuable to me.
We put that as one of the lessons in Results Faster.
Yes, that's where I learned it. Yeah, I read your book, Results Faster, and that was one of my big ahas from that book was I wasn't great at saying no. And I've become much better at saying no, yet giving the person what they wanted. And
yeah, let's give our listeners an understanding of what that means. You and I do, because we've connected, but let's give everybody else this. So if you say, hey, Kevin, I'd like to have lunch with you, you call me, hey, Tony, I'd like to have lunch with you. And you go, I go, well, is having lunch with you a good thing for me or not? And if I like you, I might just say yes. And I've burned an hour and a half, 2 hours. But I might want to say, hey, Kevin, what are you thinking? And you go, well, you know Owen. And I go, yeah, Owen's a good friend of mine. And what's up? And you go, well, I'd like you to connect me to Owen. And I want to have lunch with you to talk about you connecting me to Owen. And I go, well, why don't I just email connect you? And you're thinking in your mind, great, I didn't really have time to have lunch with you anyway. I just want to get to Owen.
Right, right.
So if I go in just a little bit deeper, I gave you what you wanted, but I said no to your request. Correct. And I think loan officers are really not on their game. In fact, I think most people aren't on their game, have never really studied saying no because they really are not understanding at the deepest level how valuable time is.
And yet, Tony, the truth is some of them are on their game at that and do a fantastic job at that. And we're all nice people, right? To be honest, like most loan officers I know are really great folks. And so we want to say yes because it's in our nature.
Like you and I, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you and I'd do anything you ask me and you'd probably do anything I ask you. But at the end of the day, what I've learned most from you, and I think is the lesson of this little session, is thinking strategically and improving my strategic IQ, because I, like a lot of people, found myself falling into the ruts of more and more doing and less thinking. And that created a challenge for me. The results were okay, and I was busy, and I would say, I worked 10 hours today, but that's not really what I wanted. I wanted to be more strategic. I wanted to work. I hate saying the old cliche of smarter, not harder and all that, but it's true. And through my time with you, I've learned the value of strategic IQ and placing importance on. Now I spend a blocked time every single day. It's on my calendar. I could prove it to you right this second. And it's just thinking.
Yeah, you look up at the top here, on the top of my building.
Yes.
When you walk in my results center here, you can see around that I have clarity, focus, and execution.
Correct.
And those three words really matter. And if you don't think enough, you don't get clear enough. Correct. And to your point, when we wrote that book, Strategic Acceleration,
yes,
my second bestseller, and we put strategic IQ in that book, and my publishers at the time said, you should do a whole book just on strategic IQ, because people don't get clear because they don't step aside and think. They just keep doing. And with their time, they're like, man, I got all these things on my to-do list, right? I mean, I get caught up in it. Yep. Like, we're all human. Yes. And then, yeah, if you really get it, I mean, I hope people take that away today, that they get, I need to think more, right?
Well, it's helped me a lot. And I think as a sales guy, which all of us loan officers are, we do a lot and we work a lot and we do a lot of tasks. And when I stopped doing as many of those tasks and spent more of my time strategically thinking, I started running my day. My day no longer ran me. And that's been a huge, huge plus for me. And
think about that. All the people that are listening, they got to be asking themselves right now, is what Kevin's saying true for me?
Correct.
Is what Tony's saying true for me? Am I using the word spend time versus best time? Do I really think about time being precious? Am I stepping back and thinking so I have more clarity and focus with my time and energy? You know, and I think most people.
And when you are able to do that, it makes your execution grow exponentially. And that's the key that I have found. And what I'm urging everyone to think about on this is, if someone could prove to you unequivocally that your results could exponentially grow, I'm not talking about double, but I'm talking about triple, quadruple, you know, because of precise clarity, exercise focus, and incredible execution, then every one of us would do it, right? But we got to start somewhere. And that book, Results Faster, made me absolutely understand those three. And
well, let me give everybody this, Kevin. I know we don't have tons of time, but
right.
This is something you may not have heard much from me that might be an aha for you that would be valuable for our listeners. Number one is awareness. When you're teaching adults how to really be better.
Yes.
And sometimes, like, I could just say the idea of using the word invest versus spend.
Yes.
And then you're aware of it and you go, wow, Tony, you got me. So all you have to do sometimes is make people more aware. At the next level of really improving an adult, their effectiveness is skill. How do you really take and manage your calendar? That's a skill to be able to think more.
Yes.
But not everybody's skill level is the same.
Correct.
How do you improve that? Well, you put processes in place. And if you have proven processes, for example, strategic gifting, if you do that at certain times throughout the year as part of your process as a loan officer, you're going to be more effective. And then the last one is tools, right? If you have tools, and a lot of people don't think about, well, what's in my toolbox? And if you have those four things, constantly making yourself more aware, constantly sharpening your skills, constantly looking for the best processes, and loading yourself up with effective tools, then guess what? You're going to be more effective.
Amen. Right there. I mean, that's a great takeaway from today. Let's all work at improving in those four areas and see what it does to your business. I can tell you firsthand, this is newer to me, so I don't want to pretend I'm some 20-year expert at what we're talking about today, because I'm not. But what I kind of been proud of myself in, and I don't mean to be braggadocious, but I said I needed something about 4 months ago, and I went out and sought it. I was aware that I had a blind spot, and I didn't know exactly how to eliminate it from my life, but I knew I had one, and I sought out something. I found you illuminated the blind spots for me, and then I focused on awareness and skills and processes and the use of tools, and all of a sudden things got better. So if we can help any loan officer on this call, just have a conversation. If anyone's open to a confidential 15-minute chat with me, you can go to growingwithkevin.com, and we'd be happy to chat. I'd be happy to share with you the experiences that have happened in my life. And as a little plug for my friend, because I'm so grateful for his willingness, one of the things that impressed me a lot is he believes in a concept that he created called a dome. And he only works with people, A, that are aggressive and abundance thinkers, D, that want to do business with Tony, O, that are open-minded to improvement, M, that already make millions and are interested in making more millions, and E, are open to an equity pitch in their business with Tony if he can bring exceptional success to that business, increased exceptional success.
Right. And I think that's real clarity, right, Kevin?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so if anyone on here is a friend outside of our industry that owns a company in any industry, Tony's depth of knowledge expands so many industries. He's spoken 60 countries. He's racked over 5 million miles on American Airlines. He has been around the world helping people have better lives, and I'm one of them. And so if anyone's interested in finding out more about Tony or more about these concepts that we discussed today, hit me up. I'd love to chat with you. And if I can do anything to help you have a more freedom-filled life, a better life, a more stress-free life, that's what we're here for. So thanks so much for tuning into our platform.
Love your energy, Kevin. Love your energy. Always love it, man. People that are around you are going to be more energetic and are going to do better, right?
Well,
love your energy. God bless you there.
We gotta keep that vibe rolling. So thanks all for tuning in. Tony, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with us today. I already wrote down 4 notes. If you saw my head going down, it's because I was writing as you talked, and I learn every time I talk to you. So thanks so much. I appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Talk soon.
All right.